Let us create a world where all beings are one, where no schisms exist, where no divisions remain, where the harmony of love prevails. Lord, such is the world you would wish for us, your children. The nature of the supreme principle is reflected in all of creation, in its many splendors. The rolling oceans yield the waters that give life. The crystal canopy of the skies holds the air that sustains breath. The earth eternally yields its bounties and gifts, and silently receives into its embrace all that ceases to live. Every link in the chain of nature is a silent gift. At an individual level, this eternal and infinite silence towards the self, the unconditional giving, the love which cares, protects and builds, has been the innate nature of Ma, whose unconditional love, spiritual identification, transcendental wisdom give to the seeker guidance and solace. On the 26th day of August, 1924, was born one who was to become a living embodiment of practical spirituality. The skies over Lahore darkened as the black dust storm spent its might over the city. In the home of Professor C.L. Anand, the highly respected principal of the Law College of Lahore, and Mrs. Santosh Anand, a dedicated social worker, preparations were underway to welcome their third child into the world. At the sound of the baby girl's first cry, nature's fury abated. The clouds showered their water upon the earth. As the storm quelled, the sun's rays broke through the blanket of clouds and bathed the earth as though to welcome the newborn babe. Her smile would illumine the lives of those in despair. Her transcendental wisdom would rent the darkness of ignorance to reveal the glory of the eternal truth. Lord, I am but an imperfect speck in this vast creation of thine, but I am eternally so grateful that I am a part of this creation. On a hot summer in 1930, while playing on a lush green lawn of her house in Lahore, Param Pujya Ma had her first divine encounter. Suddenly all activity ceased as she looked up and saw a wondrous sight in the sky. Sri Ram, Sita and Lakshman looked compassionately at this child. The tears welled up in her confused eyes. Another look in the sky, and it was all gone. She grew into a joyful, spirited and courageous child, full of laughter and a spontaneous caring. Her lively intelligence marked by rare clarity and unique objectivity. Her impartial intellect could cruise through the most difficult situations with equanimity, and she spontaneously identified with each one as her very own. Her childhood sparkles with incidents, bright with sheer mischief, clever pranks and laughter. As a little girl, she longed to have short hair, and she used her wits and gifts for mimicry to fulfill her wish. Taking advantage of her father's total absorption in a newspaper, she called out to her mother in the next room, asking permission for a haircut. And promptly, she, imitating her mother's voice, called out, "Yes." This she repeated thrice, sitting in front of her father. "What are you waiting for? Run to the barber." So she skipped off, delighted with the permission so cleverly extracted. Both parents were blissfully oblivious of their naughty daughter's clever pranks, till she came back, with her hair shorn, with a bright smile gleaming with mischief. clever, daring, adventurous, and wholly fearless. In Dalhousie, as a young girl, she learnt the difficult art of skipping on a galloping horse. Having mastered the skill, she admitted to her father that strangely she had not enjoyed herself despite a successful round. Her objective intellect analyzed why the feel-good factor was missing. She realized that she had missed the applause and acclaim of spectators marveling at her expertise. That inner realization enabled her to rise above praise. She resolved never to let her happiness depend on externalities, on others' plaudits and acclaim. The seed of this passion was sown. As a young child, her flowering consciousness seemed to inhale the beauty innate in people and circumstances. She celebrated that beauty in a spirit of abiding gratitude. One day at dusk, running home, her chappals broke. In dismay, knowing a scolding awaited her, she approached the nearest cobbler's shop. Prem Singh, seeing the little girl's nervousness, slipped on a new pair onto her feet and told her to run off, as it was getting darker. That small gesture of natural identification and understanding took root in her heart. Decades later, it flowered into a tree of bounty, fruitfulness, for not only Prem Singh but his entire family. Many summers passed thereafter, until one day at school. Upon opening her course book, Ma once again saw the three divine deities reappear on the face of the open textbook. The lingering memory of divinity was still very vivid, for she promptly chided the three, asking them why they had deprived her of the poignant moments which they bestowed on her in her early days. Indeed, the sublime hues of divinity imbued her entire life thenceforth. She was imbued with the spirit of sportsmanship right from the beginning. She became a state and national level champion in several sports. She believes, always play the game of love, where both sides emerge victorious, and the score always remains love all.
Our Father,
On yet another day,
which art in heaven,
at the morning assembly,
hallowed be thy name.
Ma lapsed in reciting the prayer with the rest of the students.
Thy will be done on earth.
Upon being asked why she was not saying the daily prayer, she humbly submitted. How could I call him my father when I am not worthy to be his child?
God bless you, my child.
Leaving the principal speechless, this exceptional student left an indelible mark on the principal's heart. Exceedingly popular amongst her friends, she also attained eminence in her career. She went on to become the Directress of Physical Education, Punjab University, leading her teams through a succession of victories.
I was going for my elections. And I said a few things because I didn't know about God or about anything. I said, do some work and build a nation. But I said, don't waste your time on God, these things. And this I couldn't tolerate from. I said, I passed a judgment without knowing it.
It was in 1958 that her life's direction took a significant turn. she was invited to contest elections to the Punjab State Assembly.
मंदिर में घंटियां बजाने से कुछ नहीं होगा। सेवा करने से, परिश्रम करने से, मेहनत करने से ही हमारे देश की तरक्की हो सकती है।
The massive ovation she received was like a thunderclap in her conscience.
What have I done? I made a judgment about religion, of which I know nothing. I have shattered the faith of so many. I have taken away their anchor. And for what? Power? For a political seat? I have made false promises for a few votes. No, I cannot continue with the elections. I will not become a pawn of the political party. I would rather be a servant of the people.
With the laser-edged objectivity natural to her, Ma spent hours in rational consideration of the vital decision to follow the path of spiritual study and practice. The resultant conclusion she recorded in points as she realized she would lose all her worldly status, friends and associates. The clarity of her understanding in that crucial period is today a lighthouse for all seekers poised at such crossroads. She pledged 5 years to research the truth contained in the scriptures. What is known as Pujya Ma's sadhana period, or the span of a spiritual endeavor, commenced on the 9th of March 1958. The road outside Dr. Mehta's house, a renowned and deeply respected physician of Jalandhar, was resplendent in those monsoon months with the beauty of Kaner blossoms. Each day, as she passed the Kaner bush, her heart thrilled with the glory of the flowers. She would gather the beauty of those blossoms in her eyes and place them silently at her beloved's feet. One evening, Dr. Mehta commented on the poison contained in those beautiful Kaner blossoms. Pujya Ma was thrust into a stunned silence, and she could not endure the fact that she had offered poison to her Lord, even though it was done in ignorance. Gripped by remorse, she silently crushed the Kaner blossoms and drank the potion. As they reached home, the fire of the poison consumed her in its flames. Pujya Ma sang to her Lord, "My last moments are near. Only you reside within this heart. And though darkness descends in my eyes, there is only light within." In this period, her intense devotional concentration was focused on a small image of Lord Ram in her mandir. For her, the deity was a living, breathing entity, her divine beloved, her constant companion. One day, while Ma was praying in the temple, a picture on the wall fell on the deity, breaking it into pieces. This incident left Ma totally shattered, as she had witnessed the deity break into fragments. She was overcome by intolerable agony. Consumed by grief, unconscious of herself, she gathered the precious fragments into her arms and walked barefoot into the blazing summer's day. For miles she walked on the burning tarmac, forgetful of herself and her surrounding. "Little one, why are you so sad? Do you think I resided only within that image of clay? Do you not know that I am right here beside you? Deep in your heart, you will find me even in your temple room, just as you will find me also in every form and shape that you witness henceforth. Perceive me in all." In that instant, her soul made a divine leap from the finite to the infinite. Her life abounds with such spiritual experiences.
रुक ना पाए हम क्या रोके अब रोक नहीं हम पाते हैं कहे राम को रुक जाओ ये भी तो कह नहीं पाते हैं अब राम खड़े हैं.
Even today, the ceaseless flow of devotional wisdom is daily reinforced by her actions. It is, in fact, a reflection of her essential nature, inspiring those who come in contact with her. Param Pujya Ma remains immersed at the feet of the Lord in complete identification with all. In the early days, she wrote her prayers to the Supreme, calling them love letters to her Lord.
तेरे कहे तेरे बहे चित में यही रहता है केवल तू ही सभी में है हर ही हृदय में तू बैठा है.
Gradually, her love letters to the Lord grew into a flow of profoundly devotional and inspirational song.
जग में जो है सब तू ही तो है मन भ्रम ही भ्रमित किए बैठा है बुद्धि को अपना मैं कैसे कहूँ बुद्धि में भी भ्रम ही तो रहता है.
I sing praises of my Lord. I meditate only on Him. Each thought that flows forth from within, I dedicate unto Him. This pragya, or divine flow, was captured on paper by her constant companion, Miss Sushil Dhiman, now known as Chote Ma. Upon the latter's request, Ma elucidated the principal Upanishads, Ish, Ken, Kat, Prashna, Mundak, Mandukya, Shvetashvat, Chandogya and Brihadaranyaka Upanishads. These flowed forth as a cascade of divine wisdom in verse. The timeless message of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita has been elucidated by her more than once at the request of aspirants. The uniqueness of this profound flow lies in its extreme simplicity and its tremendous practical import. The Lord Himself ensured the protection of her spiritual endeavor by providing the name Urvashi for this divine flow. Urvashi, the Apsara, who can perceive any impurity in the heart of whom she dwells. According to Indian mythology, Urvashi is a celestial spirit who enraptures even sages with her beauty, and so she cannot endure any trace of desire, avarice, attachment, or any other impurity in the heart of one in whom she dwells. If she perceives any such impurity, she vanishes instantly. Thus, Param Pujya Ma acknowledged the name Urvashi as an appellation for this flow and never claimed it as her own. Another significant manifestation of her detachment lies in the fact that on 27th of August 1962, she relinquished any right of possession over this precious treasure as she gave it away to Arpana Trust. (1965) Madhuban, a sleepy little village nestled in the verdant green fields of Haryana, North India, 114 kilometers north of Delhi. her little house stood illumined by the steady and sure flame of a mother's love. A flame which drew and continues to draw individuals and families, young and old, people from diverse faiths, lands and professions, into an aura of emotional well-being and spiritual inquiry. It continues to sustain and foster the humane values embodied to perfection in her person. Others simply have found in her embrace a succor and refuge from the travails of life. All members of this steadily growing family have always felt that Ma is their very own. With her by their side, all work held a spontaneous enjoyment and presented learning opportunities to discover oneself, thus fostering the joyous art of living with a spiritual attitude. She often says, spirituality is not theory, but practice. Of what use is that meditation which cannot be practiced at a busy crossroad?
Everybody has the Atma within him. There's nothing to search about. You don't need anything. Look within, is there, ever shining and ever glorious truth. He says, such a person is my own self.
She is many things to many people. For the seeker, as a guru, she is thunder. She is compassionate mother, a peerless friend, an incomparable companion, the dearest confidant. Ma nurtures the growing spiritual family on a diet of love and humane values, seasoned with immense practical wisdom based on the scriptures. Ma's spiritual intuition and innate love enables her to identify with prophets and saints of all faiths. People of different faiths have found through her a revitalized perception of their own faith. When asked by some overseas visitors why her room was adorned by so many pictures of different prophets and saints, she smiled and answered, "Do you not place pictures of your family and loved ones in your home? This is my family." The visitors were disarmed by this all-embracing vision of unity. Responding to queries about the base of her belief in the unity of all faiths, she says, Lord Ram is the epitome of all unity. It is his essence which has evoked in me the understanding that all are one. This is Vedanta, which believes that the supreme principle is one, and all beings are made in his image and imbued by his spirit.
The Lord says, I come again and again. And I come to purify the bhaktas, take away their sins and teach them how to abide in the truth. And we take it, he comes to destroy the sinners. No, not the sinners outside. He comes to destroy our sins. He comes for us again and again. Each time the country can be different, the language can be different, and he can be different. He can be born with a different name, with different concepts of the society. But he is unpolluted.
Today, when racism and religions wreak storms of violence across the earth, Ma represents that unifying force which cements relations between man and man with bonds of love, transcending all barriers of religion, caste and creed or nationality. Can an ordinary worldly person tread the path of spirituality? Can a householder accept the entire universe as his own family? Is it possible to live only for the other? Can people from varied faiths and walks of life live in togetherness, love and peace? The answer is yes. Ma gives us the key to joyous living as she defines the practical connotation of the 4 stages of Om, delineated in the Mandukya Upanishad. For the traveler on this path, she is the vigilant guide. She initiates him into Vaishvanar, the first stage of Om. He learns to perceive the Supreme as abiding in all beings and serves all in a spirit of selfless devotion, thus assimilating humane qualities. In this manner, people of all professions and talents learn to share their expertise and energies with those less privileged. In the process, they experience a sense of freedom from their own concepts and limitations. As the seeker transcends the barriers of his mind, he moves into Tejas, the second stage of Om, where the subtle impurities within are purged. The spiritual energy released propels him into a realm of intuitive spiritual wisdom, or Pragya, the third stage of Om. The final stage of Turiya is infinite internal quietude, even as the individual lives through the turmoils of daily life. People around Ma have all glimpsed in her this profound silence, undiminished despite unceasing demands on her energies, as she spontaneously identifies with the needs of those who seek refuge in her. Pujya Ma says, "If you're not this body, then give this body to this earth and to all beings, for they are all claimants of this body. If you are not the mind, then forget your likes and dislikes and disseminate love and happiness. If you are not the intellect, then do not consider your decision to be the most superior and impose it on others. You can ascend to the spiritual path by gifting your body, mind, and intellect to the Lord's universe." The fragrance of the rich practical spirituality of Ma's life and words draws seekers from far and near. All who meet her take away a precious store of love, a glimpse of perfect and abiding peace. They discover in themselves the desire to taste the joy of giving and of sharing. They begin their own voyage of self-discovery as they endeavor to practicalize the truth. The fruits of service inspired by her own example of unconditional love are seen in new centers in Delhi, in the growing spread of services in Delhi, Haryana and Himachal. Submission to him liberates you from sins, says Ma. One and all find in her innate simplicity precious moments of laughter, joy, and tenderness. In her embrace, they experience the security and comfort of unconditional love. As she guides a young couple through the portals of marriage, she inspires in them the realization that the ceremony does not only signify a union of two individuals, but is an expansion of the spirit to gradually embrace all the Lord's children in acceptance and love. Even on the occasion of death, Ma is a pillar of strength, security, and comfort. She enables those who are caught in the trauma of loss to accept and understand the futility of tears, for they obscure the value and worth of a precious life gone by.
Death is no meaning. You should have started from the birth, but never mind. So we had death somewhere. Some of the karmas became seeds and they've gonna come again. As a matter of fact, birth is nothing but the seeds that have sprouted again.
Imbuing such moments with a spiritual perspective, she says,
Ram Namahi Satya Hai, Ram Namahi
सत्य है, राम नाम ही सत्य है, राम नाम ही सत्य है.
She says that he who makes death his guru and companion gains a new meaning and understanding of life. Thus, Ma silently and imperceptibly leads all beyond their own restrictive concepts to higher realms of understanding and action. As the Ganga flows from the sublime silence of Lord Shiva, beautiful in her bounty, enriching the shores she touches, cleansing the hearts of seekers, revitalizing the spirit of aspirants, sometimes a torrent of thunder, and at others a flowing mantle of serenity. So too do Ma's life and words flow from the silence of divinity. Just as the waters of the Ganga are eternal, so also will the practical spirituality of Ma's life and potent devotional wisdom of her words continue to inspire seekers through eternity.
ऐसा आनंद अव्यव आनंद वो अक्षर आनंद तब ही तो हो जब मृत्यु पात से पहले ही मृत्यु से उठे जाए हम क्यों ना